Hello and welcome to the show for this week. We've traveled to the town of Sarita, which is just about a half hour south of Tucson. And we've come down here because it's pecan picking time, my friends. And you won't believe what the process is to get the pecan to the pie. But I'll give you a hint. You gotta shake it like you bake it. I'll be the first to admit I never thought it would be such an earth-shaking experience to find the source of my pecan pie. But you have to shake it before you can bake it here at the Green Valley Pecan Farm in Sarita. And if you like pecans as much as I do, this is like manna from heaven.
Because the trees are so big, there's no way to actually get the nuts onto any kind of machinery. So we've got to put them onto the ground, and because pecans are a closed nut, we can do that.
It doesn't take long for these shakers to move from tree to tree, and you'll notice the street sweeper style brushes they have. That gives the all clear so the nuts aren't run over and smashed. And because of all the shaking going on, these machines are high maintenance.
You know, these machines are built, they've got an offset counterbalance in them which shakes that head, and it's so hard on the machinery, and we only use it 30 days out of the year, that we can't justify to own the machinery. That's why everybody hires these guys out of California. Once you shake all the pecans out of the ground, we sweep them into a windrow for the harvesters to pick up. And it's a V-sweep harvester that just sweeps everything right into one windrow. That way the harvester can straddle it and pick it up.
Arizona is the fourth largest pecan producer in the U.S., mostly because of the climate. And while you can't actually visit the farm during the harvest, it's pretty easy to get a good look from along the road. You can probably tell it takes a lot of specialized equipment to pick pecans on a farm operation like this. And while most of the equipment they wouldn't let me touch, when I saw this thing called the runner, I knew I had to drive this baby. And they said okay, and what I have right now, the equivalent of about 12,000 pecan pies.
On this farm, we've got 4,500 acres of trees, and about 10 million pounds a year is what we do average.
Do you know what that is in pies?
In pies, oh, about 10 million pies, I guess, roughly.
Because we figure about a pound of pie,
yeah,
huh? And that's the correct way to measure it, isn't it?
By pies, yep, that's right.
Well, at least in my world. Now, coming up a little bit later, we'll take you into the processing plant to see how these pecans get shelled, sorted, and shipped. And we'll take you into the store. But first, we hear from our friends at AAA. When we come back, we're headed inside the pecan packing plant where we'll see the nutty process of getting the pecans out of the shell and into the box for shipping.
I would say, at least on the West Coast, there's a good 90% chance you're eating a Green Valley pecan.
Welcome back to the Green Valley Pecan Farm in southern Arizona, where crews have been harvesting about 10 million pounds of meaty pecans from 106,000 trees, and yes, they did count them.
On this farm, we've got 4,500 acres of trees, and about 10 million pounds a year is what we do average.
That makes Green Valley one of the largest pecan producers in the world. And it's still owned and operated by one family.
I'm a third generation pecan grower, but I'm also a fourth generation agricultural farmer. My grandfather started the business FICO in 1939 in California, and he moved to Arizona in 1949 and brought my dad and my uncle and my grandmother over here. We were originally into cotton, and then in 1965 he started converting our cotton fields into pecan fields.
It was Deborah who was our guide into the pecan processing plant, and you can skip the farmer's daughter stories because this is one farmer's daughter who knows everything about the operation.
We store our pecans until we're ready to harvest at below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we're ready to harvest, we'll bring them out. We temper them down to room temperature. They go through a cold water bath. Then they go through a heat pasteurization for 9 minutes or more. And then once we go through that, we send them through the crackers and through the deshellers and all the way through the processing plant through our ESM machines, which can do size, color, and also any foreign material until they're ready to be either packaged in cello bags for the pecan store into 30-pound cases to ship all over the world.
And while you can't tour this plant, the good news is there's a country store attached with lots of pecans and even better, pecan pies. And it's not just the world that loves its Green Valley pecans. Deborah says that if you live in the West, there's about a 90% chance that if you're eating a pecan, it came from this family-owned farm. Are you worldwide?
We are international, yes. I mean, I would say all over the US, Canada, Mexico, into Europe, parts of Asia, most definitely. We're a family-oriented company. We have been, you're talking third-generation families that work for us, who I grew up with, who now work for us. So, I mean, you know, technology has helped us in many ways, but we owe a lot of our accomplishments to our employees. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for them.
Especially that last step is still the human eyeball.
Yes, it is. It is the human eyeball. And that's what makes us unique and different and helps set us apart from the rest.
Information on today's show, you can go to our website at AAA.com/Highroads. Or for travel information, you can call 1-800-AAA-CARD. And of course, if you have any questions about car repair or insurance, we can help you there too. That's our show for this week. We certainly enjoyed our visit to Sarita and learning about that pecan picking process. And as we say goodbye, yes, my friends, I saved my pie, and it's time for dessert. Have a great weekend. This show has been sponsored in part by the good folks at Disney, Holland America Cruises, Discover Bank FDIC, AAA Auto Finance, and Nationwide Vision. When you look at car financing, I mean, the prices and the percentages are all over the map. Where do you start? Where do you start? Come on.
Oh, you didn't want me to answer?
No.
There's a good 90% chance you're eating a Green Valley pecan.
You're huge.
We're understated.
Let's do that one more.
Yeah, that was clunky anyway, so I saved it.
Have a great weekend.